everyone. Welcome to my Instagram live show called The Third Phase. I am so happy you're here. I'm Lori Carpenter, interior designer and founder of The Third Phase. I go live every Tuesday at 12:30 Central, right here. And this is where I have deep conversation with inspiring guests about things that matter most in the season of our life, like our homes, our health, and our wealth. But first, I want to thank our sponsor, Life Ballet. Life Ballet feels that life is full of possibilities and your home should too. That's the reason they created these stunning grab bars for your home, designed for safety, style, and freedom at every stage of your life. These Life Ballet grab bars are in stunning finishes, tile ready for custom inlay, configurations that are angled or straight to work with whatever your design may be. Explore all the possibilities at lifeballet.com. And if you're 60 plus, you may be like me dealing with all the aspects of this phase. Like a busy home, you want to look beautiful. Maybe you have aging parents or aging loved ones that you're helping with. Those children, grandchildren, and all while juggling a full-time career. It's challenging to say the least, but together we can navigate this, and we can do it with grace, purpose, and joy. So grab your lunch and grab a friend, and let's dive in, because today's guest is the very inspiring Lorraine Woodward. Lorraine Woodward is the CEO and founding partner at Becoming RentABLE. Becoming RentABLE is making accessibility for vacation rentals, for short-term rentals. And let me tell you a little bit about Lorraine. She's a full-time wheelchair user and mother of 2 sons with muscular dystrophy and loves to travel. Lorraine brings personal experience and industry leadership to her mission, and she is now working with Expedia. So she's also been named one of the top 20 influencers in travel. So quite exciting to have Lorraine on. So let me bring her on here and have her join in a minute. So I'm gonna grab a sip of water and we'll get Lorraine on here.
Hello, hello.
Hello, how are you, Lorraine?
I'm great. Happy to be here.
Oh, I'm happy to have you. Very excited. I'm here in Arkansas, so you have done a lot for our state parks. So very happy to share that with everyone here today.
Thank you.
Lorraine, you have a very interesting personal story. How and why you became rentable. Can
Well,
you?
I thought we were pretty special and unique. We are a family of 3 of us with disabilities, muscular dystrophy, and traveling was hard. I mean, it just was. We even went to the most magical place on earth, and the boys were young, and we wanted to go to the Magic Kingdom. And there
Absolutely.
are 3 of us in our wheelchairs, our scooters, and the buses only take 2. So here, this is really, I'm aging here.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
This is before cell phone time. So we had to divide and conquer. My husband took one child, I took the next. And, the buses didn't go close together. And then, I mean, I was surprised on the challenges that we had. And so traveling was, yeah, really hard for us. And one day the boys were graduating high school, and I wanted a place that they could stay and not have any trouble. So I ended up building a accessible property. I had to pay for it, so it became short-term rental. And that the boys were like, "Mom, why are you building a place at a beach? We're in Raleigh, North Carolina now, and we're
Okay.
3 hours away from the ocean." And I found this cute little island and built a place. And to this day, we've had over 500 families at our place,
Wow.
and all their stories are the same. And I'm like, this is crazy. Why is it so hard to find an accessible place? And that's how we got started on becoming rentable.
That is fabulous. Well, when you speak about making short term rental spaces accessible, Are you talking about accessibility just for people in wheelchairs?
You know, historically that has been the case, but you know what? We don't do things what the way that everybody else has done it. And you know, I looked at it and I'm going, well, first of all, let's go beyond a wheelchair. Let's look at accessibility for walkers and crutches and canes. And we didn't stop there. We decided to look into cognitive needs, our Alzheimer's, our anxiety issues, our autism, and look at what do we need to accommodate for families with a cognitive disability. And now we're working in Arkansas with somebody in Conway, Lori Cullum, in building our new program for our visually impaired.
Is that Laura or Lori?
Yes,
Okay.
Lori, yes. And Lori is one of our new ambassadors. She has low vision, and she traveled to a couple of the state parks and did some content and video for us, showing that if you have low vision, how you can navigate the Arkansas State Park system.
That is wonderful. Well, I am so impressed that Arkansas has done this. Has many of the other states done this as well?
Well, you know, Arkansas is the first state. And so I grew up in Conway, went to Hendricks, and I worked for Congressman Ed Bethune from Arkansas when I went to
Uh-huh.
DC. And so lots of connections there. I ended up building the first fully accessible property in Conway, known as the Little Yellow House. And so I had a chance to meet some folks with the Department of Travel and Tourism. And I shared with them what we're doing. And historically, we look at accessible short term rentals or vacation rentals in a condo, in a home, or a room of your house. But what about outdoor space? What about cabins, yurts, and lodging units? So we worked with Arkansas 2 years ago, evaluating their accessible cabin, yurts, and lodging units. And we continued to work with them this year and gearing up for year three. And so Arkansas has been our first state. We're in conversations with several other states and hoping to be able to duplicate what we're doing in Arkansas.
Oh, that is fabulous. Oh, wow. What were your early experiences as a founder and CEO of a company dedicated for short-term rentals
I,
properties?
as any entrepreneur, you have to have thick skin. It is the toughest job ever. And you know, I've been a business owner for other businesses. Now, our communications firm was 28 years in business, and we painted canes. We did all kinds of stuff. But this effort at becoming rentable has been it's been challenging because what does accessibility mean? You know, that educational front again, we automatically go to wheelchair. And so to
Right.
understand that we're looking at, you know, just because you have one step in a house doesn't mean it's accessible to everyone. Now, it is not accessible to me, but my mother-in-law who used a walker, she could get up a step. And so it's that understanding that, you know, we are looking at beyond the wheelchair. And then you get into invisible disabilities and wow, that's a huge educational, you know, opportunity. And then there's a fear of being sued. You know, that's a real issue. People are afraid of, you know, not meeting the ADA needs. And we
Wow.
spent 2 years researching it. And in the short term rental space, there are not specific ADA requirements that you have to have. And so, but it's like, are you sure, you know, that this is
Yeah.
right? And it's like, yes, it is. And we worked with the National ADA Center on this. We, you know, spent 2 years, but again, people are afraid of being sued. And so it's the education of understanding what it means, and then the fear has really been, I think, two of our greatest challenges. But also, a lot of property owners are afraid of how much it's going to cost. You know, it's like, oh, I can't afford that. And
Right.
so opening their eyes to sometimes it doesn't cost anything. And yes, there can be, you know, a lot of expense if you're going to add an elevator or if you're going to demo a kitchen and redo it.
Hmm.
So you can go both spectrums, but I think that's actually been the hardest.
Okay. Okay. Wow. What are the top 10 items people need to install or redo in order to make those short term rentals accessible?
Well, again, we believe that it's about choices. And so it's the information that you share that makes a property accessible. And people are going, are surprised when I say, "Do you have a hard surface driveway?" It's like, "Yes." And it's like, "Did you show that hard surface driveway in your description? Did you talk about your hard surface driveway?" Because that's an important accessibility feature. I said, for me, I look at, can I drive my van to the property? Can I
Hmm.
get out of the van safely? So that hard surface driveway is going to be a clue if I can even consider that as a rental option. So a lot of times that didn't cost anything. Let's say that you have a zero threshold entry. Basically, it's a roll
Hmm.
in. You can get into the home, and that you have a regular height toilet, and you would like to make it taller for those who might be weak in their legs. And so we recommend what we call an owner's closet, where you might spend $30 on a toilet lift and you make it available upon a request from a renter. Some people are like, "I don't want to have that, out," and
Right.
people may not want to see that. So a reacher, a toilet seat, a shower seat that you put
Hmm.
in the shower can go in a closet and make available. So a
That's
lot of
very easy.
it,
Very
it
easy to
can
do.
be.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. That's about 4 or 5. Anything else that you can think of that would be very easy to do?
Absolutely. Photography. I love looking at going down and looking at pictures of the beautiful dishes and the birds. And it's like, you know what? I need to see the floor. I need to see the doorway of thinking about, what will make somebody come and want to rent my property. And so as we look at accessibility from a mobility standpoint, of looking at, okay, what is that path to the front door?
Hmm.
Is it grassy? Is it, take a picture of that and show it?
Right.
That people a lot of times will take a picture of the shower or bathtub area with the shower curtain, closed. Well, I want to know what's behind curtain number one. Is
Yes.
it a step-in shower, a roll-in shower, and a tub?
Uh-huh.
And I think the other thing is, and I'm guilty of this, when we first started becoming rentable, I was looking at what makes and doesn't make a property accessible. And I said to myself, a bathtub. If you have a bathtub, then you're not accessible. Well, guess what? I was wrong. That my friends that are paraplegics, quadriplegics, they're like, "I want to get into a bathtub," particularly people who have uh, that are paraplegic, so they can't feel from their waist down. It's like I
Right.
have the upper body strength to slide onto a shower chair or a bench, and I want to get into the tub and make sure that I feel like I'm really good and clean. So if I had a preference, I'm going to take a bath instead of a shower. And I'm like, okay, then if you have a bathtub, say that you have a bathtub, because there are a lot of people with disabilities who enjoy that. People with cognitive disabilities, that shower, that bathtub is comfort. And so you're having a little anxiety and you need to relax. Well, the bathtub is important. Dimmer switches. That's something else that's important, particularly for our cognitive community. Bright lights sometimes affect a sensory issue. And
Right.
so knowing that, having a dimmer switch installed doesn't cost very much money. And better yet, having a secondary lock on your exterior doors
Hmm.
that costs less than $5 will increase drastically the amount of families that can rent from you that have members with that are that are escape artists, and it's like, and it's great for small children.
I
It's
just
like
say
they
my 3-year-old grandson.
absolutely, they see that bunny in the yard, or they remember the beach, and they just want to go see it.
Yeah, they
And
just want to roam.
that's right. So if you have that secondary lock and you put it about at 5 feet, then that is a real confidence booster for the family, for our escape artist.
Well, that's a great point. That's something I have to do in my home for my grandchildren, but I hadn't thought about that.
Mhm.
That as we age with dementia, sometimes there is a roaming factor with that. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
What kind of special needs do seniors have, even if they have no obvious disabilities? And how can a short term rental provide them the best needs for that demographic?
Right. Again, we don't have a checklist. It's why it's important to identify all those things that you have. Let's say you
Hmm.
you don't want to climb a bunch of steps,
Right.
because then you have to lug that cooler up and down, or your luggage. So having the elevator is a really nice benefit for all of us. And as we're aging, that extra help is nice. Now we have energy to get to the beach and maybe hang out for an hour, or go visit our family before dinner instead of meeting them at a restaurant. And
Right.
so that is, of providing that information helps all of us. Having also materials for vision and hearing. Now, my boys are constantly after me. Mom, is it time for you to get those hearing aids? And so making sure your remotes have batteries,
Yeah.
charged batteries. So if you need to turn up that volume, you can. And or the closed captioning on a TV. And
Mhm.
so you just need a little bit of extra help. I also love in the kitchen getting those. I think it's XOXO,
Yes.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
those products that just give you a little better grip when you're peeling some potatoes, or another type of handle to stir your pasta sauce. And so, looking at those items, in your short-term rental. Now, one of the things that I'm really proud about is the work we're doing with Expedia, and and they have done a great job in educating what accessibility might look like in a short-term rental. And they have an illustration of a lot of these features, from vision and hearing and mobility. And so we're really happy about that, because in the short-term rental industry, Expedia is the first company that has really looked at accessibility in this broad scope. The other platforms have strictly kept it on
Hmm.
wheelchair access versus even mobility. And so with this effort with Expedia, we are looking at this full range of what are those things that you can do to meet the needs of all travelers. I looked at, and when we started Becoming Rentable, I looked at our audience as a niche market. And now that I've been in the business for 4 years now, it's like, you know what? It's not a niche market. It's really looking at the needs of where you are today. My needs today are very different than they were 5 years ago. And so you, as a grandmother, have different kinds of needs than you did 4 years ago before your grandson was born.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
and so we look at that and we really address, and that's what the campaign does, is really address, that what does accessibility look like. So when you are, making a vacation plan with a family member that has a disability, and you're not living it every day, this gives you a visual idea, as well as it talks about it. You can read about the access.
Right. Leslie's asking is what about fire or flood alarms for those who can't hear?
That's right. We are in our little yellow house, we do have those elements of access. And as we're building our vision and hearing certifications, we are looking at what are those products. We do have an Amazon store. You can go at becomingrentable.com and go to our Amazon store and see a variety of tools that will help you to reach those potential customers. And we do include those with vision and hearing as well.
Yes. How did your partnership with the state of Arkansas? I'm a little bit curious about that, being from Arkansas, and I'm going to go see the little yellow house in
Okay.
Conway because that's not that far from me. But how did that come about?
You know, I was very, very fortunate. A college friend of mine, David Flake, worked at the Department of Travel and Tourism in the HR department. And he shared with Shay Lewis and Jeff King the work that we were doing. And the governor this past year mandated for all departments to look at what they can do to increase accessibility. And in the park system, they had not spent any time and energy in looking at how to make their parks accessible and increase visitors throughout the state if they're in-state folks or other folks coming into Arkansas. And so, we were so fortunate of working with David and Shay and Jeff, and within a month we had a contract and we got going. We did a guide of accessibility language for staff. We certified 59 of their units, which increased the accessibility in short-term rentals by over 800% for Arkansas.
Wow.
And so we've been able to really look at what accessibility is in the park system. They're updating the website now. So this next year, folks will be able to navigate the website easier and find more accessible things to do.
So just a punch for Arkansas. If you want to travel, you have special needs, be sure to visit us.
That's right.
I just got to
Absolutely.
throw that in there for sure.
Right. That's
Um,
right.
so how did you partner with Expedia?
I was a little bold in that about 3 years ago, there was a call for entries for their accelerator program. And I mean, we were only like a year and a half old, and it's like, yeah, we can do this. And we submitted an application, and they picked 12 companies around the world, six in the US and six outside the US, to be a part of this 5 month, very intense accelerator program, and we got selected. And so
Wow.
it was a wow moment. It's like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
And it was fabulous. We have had two mentors that we worked with that we still work with today. And
Right.
the support from the staff, I really credit for being able to have the partnership that we have today. When the accelerator program had ended on that last day, they announced that they were doing a letter of intent to one of the companies, and we were the selected company that they picked out. And
Wow.
so, and
Wow.
a shout out to my other friends at Will the World and Be My Eyes and Solo Traveler. I mean, just really some dynamic founders and programs that are having great success, and the staff at Expedia really have supported what we're doing. And because of that, we rolled out our first campaign on May the 2nd of this year.
May 2nd. Well, my granddaughter turned a year old on May 2nd, year old at May 2nd, so I can remember that date pretty good. She, I wanted her to be born on May Day, but because her last name is Day, so she was born on
Oh.
May 2nd. But anyway, that's another story. So, so is there anything that we haven't covered that you can think of that you would like to share?
Going back to Arkansas, we're doing a pilot program. We started with a capstone project. So if you get a master's degree or a PhD in OT, PT, or
Uh-huh.
even engineering, you have to do a capstone project. Our first one was Duke University, and we worked with a team of students with Duke this past year working on statistical information, and we were approached by the University of Arkansas. So, it's Jonesboro. So what's the?
Oh, Arkansas State.
There you go, Arkansas State.
Yeah.
So
ASU.
yes, there you go. So Katie is a doctoral candidate, and she loves Arkansas park system. And we've been working with Katie all summer. August 15th is her last day, which will
Oh,
make me very, very sad to see her
yeah.
go. But we're building an app that will be released at the end of August that
Uh-huh.
shows all the accessible features of every park in Arkansas. So all 52 parks will be able to access this app. It doesn't cost any money to access it. And it will
Great.
show you, you go to DeGray, and you'll see every accessible feature from like how many parking spaces there are, where are the accessible bathrooms,
Wow.
what are the trails, do you have Moby mats where you have water events at, and it has 300 over 300 data points. And so we're really looking forward to piloting this new product in, of course, Arkansas. And
Yay.
I
Even
know,
better.
I know. We encourage folks. We another challenge of our company is we have two groups of people we target: those who can benefit from the accessible vacation and short-term rentals,
Uh-huh.
and then the host of those rentals, of educating and providing information that they can use to stand out from other rental units to get their bookings. And so we encourage folks, if you need an accessible place to stay, come to our website,
Yes.
becomingrentable.com. We're building the largest listing platform of accessible properties over Airbnb, Verbo, Booking.com. We're constantly growing those. We're not a booking platform.
Right.
And we just list the properties. We want to be that one source. Where can you go to find a place to stay that's accessible? So we have
Right.
111 booking platforms that have their properties on our site, so
Right.
that you're not going from this site to this site to this site. You just come to
Yes.
becomingrentable.com and find your
So
place.
you can kind of list in there what you need. Like for example, let's say I've had foot surgery and I need I want a tub, but I want to be able to get in. Is it accessible that way? So I guess
36
you
inch
can do that.
doors. Yes,
Yeah.
36-inch doors, no
Yeah.
step entry,
Uh-huh.
that roll in shower, a step in shower. You identify, we have 43 filters for mobility and
43 filters. Okay.
and then for our cognitive focus, we have 20. So we have a total of 63 filters. So to give you an idea, booking.com has 16 filters, Airbnb has 10, and Verbo has 11. So we're very much overachievers and looking at, that again, what are those needs that you have?
Yeah.
And they vary, as we each vary.
We're all different. We're all
Oh, yes,
different.
we are.
So, yes. So, if people wanted to contact you for more information on becoming rentable, where
Yes.
would they go?
They would go to becoming rent, RENTABLE.com. They can reach out to me on email, Lorraine at becomingrentable.com.
Well, that is fabulous. Lorena, Lorraine, excuse me. My name's Lorena.
Right?
So, Lorraine, it is so wonderful to have you here today to share all this. And I've been following you for some time now, and I've been very impressed. And
Thank
after
you.
Jessica told me that you were doing all this in Arkansas, I was amazed. And, a lot of time people will say Arkansas is just a podunk area. It's not at all.
It
It
is
is
not.
not. It is
And
fabulous. It's beautiful. And we have beautiful state parks. It is truly the natural state. So,
it is. Well, I remember back when I was at Hendrix, I remember the slogan, what was, oh gosh, it just escaped me. The beautiful, oh, the most beautiful, oh, fudge. I'm now, of course, it was at the tip of my tongue
yeah.
before you said the natural states. But it is absolutely beautiful. And
Yeah. It
they
is a
are.
hidden gem.
It is, and so we're thrilled, honored, and excited about being able to work with Arkansas and be the leaders in what accessibility looks like in state parks across the
Yeah,
country.
and I can't imagine other state parks, other states not following this. This is very, very impressive,
Thank you.
because yeah, uh, Yellowstone, all the different ones. So, did you say you grew up in Arkansas?
I did. I
You
grew
grew
up
up
in
in
Conway
yeah,
Elementary School, Ida Burns Elementary School, and I did, and then middle school, high school, and then I went to
yeah.
Hendrix, and then
Okay,
I
well, Conway is about 2 hours southwest of me. I'm in the
okay,
very northern part of the state of Arkansas. I'm
okay.
almost
Well,
to the Missouri line.
yeah, absolutely beautiful. I mean,
It
again,
is.
you
We
know,
have
it's
natural springs and lots of golf courses, lots of things. And I think I'm going to check to see how accessible things are around here.
well, I will put a plug into any investors because what people like, you want to go to a Fayetteville
Mhm.
football, basketball game. We're talking 60, 70, 80,000 people come in for this wonderful spirit of the Razorbacks to watch a game.
Yes.
But if you go in and you look for an accessible place to stay, there are four listed. That's it. And you have all of these people that are coming that want to spend their money, want to support their team, but they don't have a place to stay. So I tell investors all the time, it's like, look at those college and university towns,
Mhm.
look at being near a hospital, and that those are two areas that I guarantee that you will get bookings every
Very
weekend.
good. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Well, Lorraine, thank you so much for being here with me today. And I look forward to meeting you in person.
Yes,
So,
absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for
all
having me.
right. And I'm just going to plug here my Instagram or my Facebook group called The Third Phase, and we use the number 3. So if you have not become a member of my
Okay.
Facebook group, it's private, it's free, and it's powerful. And it's at www.facebook.com/groups/The Third Phase, number 3.
Very
So,
good.
Lorraine, we look forward to seeing you in that group. If anyone has any questions for Lorraine, she can help us out there. So,
That's right.
all right.
Thank you.
Lorraine, thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing everybody next week.
All right. Take
Thank
care.
you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.